Love it, love it. So
I
that's a
think it's
good,
pretty cool.
okay.
I
That's
as well.
love it, love it. I'm so glad that I'm hearing so many, I love what I do. And some of you are probably here saying, well, I'm just here and hoping to make money. And some people are just like, I'm too new to fall in love yet. Kind of like it, kind of like it, but I don't know yet. It's just a new relationship. Let's give it some time. I get you and I understand that, and that's okay. Today I just kind of wanted to reinforce your love or build that love for what you do. Because if you really want to be great at something, there has to be passion that is visible, that is felt by the person sitting across from you. If you really want to do well. If you're presenting and you're dry and you're just like, well, I'm just selling it here. I'm selling this to make money, but I don't really believe in it. That person across the room for you, maybe you're just an amazing actor and you can do well, doesn't matter. But most people can feel across from you that you are not being genuine and they're usually not going to buy. And by chance, if you are not being genuine and you sell, it's not going to happen all the time because passion is very important. It just builds trust in you. When you talk with the passion, when you talk with conviction, you sell people based on your conviction. You need to remember that. If you don't believe in it, why would the person buy from you? So sell based on your conviction. And if you don't have that conviction yet, then you need to tell yourself and teach yourself more, educate yourself more. Don't sit on the computer and only look up negative things. Give it a little time, maybe if you need to, if that's you, you love the negative, you love researching and soul searching and finding all the bad, that's great. But we all have enough bad things in life that you don't really need to do that. Go research the good things about insurance. Because if you start, we have a lot of agents that do that. Trust me. And they have not sold a single policy. They've been here for a year. And every time they come on with a problem. Unfortunately, every time they come on, they found a hole in something. Nobody's paying you to find the hole. Everyone is paying you to sell the policy. So find the good. Now, how many, I mean, I don't want to put it into a negative perspective and ask questions, but you can answer this quietly. How many of you do that? How many of you are negative by yourself just by nature and you're researching and you're fighting all the ways a person can say no. You're teaching yourself how to be prepared for the no. 30 seconds to answer it in your head. 10 seconds, I mean. That's a problem. You should be spending your time, your efforts, your money into learning how to sell it with all the positives. That is your job. Your job is not to sell or overcome objections right away. Your job is to sell. Know what your job is first. Sometimes we over prepare and we look up objections. That's how our mind works. But you can't be like that. You wanted to say something? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, no, I said you are also, yeah, so you are an educator at heart. You have to become an educator. And obviously, the school system doesn't teach everything correctly, but you teach everything to the kid with full passion and determination that this is physics, right? And this is what you're teaching. So when you're educating on the financial side, that's what you're doing. You're educating them with conviction of what you are selling. You are selling, but we always lead with education.
Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna win, and you're not gonna feel guilty about selling something that they should not have bought. A lot of agents do sell things that someone doesn't really need. I remember when I first started and I had to sell final expense policy, and I'm sitting in someone's trailer home that's completely dilapidated, and they don't have money for food, and the senior is asking how they can access food pantries. And I'm sitting there, I'm just telling her, you know what, you don't need insurance right now. You need to eat. And she's like, no, 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 I have nothing to bury me. I lost a friend and nobody paid for her burial. And I don't know where she went, but I need to be buried. And I know my kids can't afford it. I mean, the woman is living on $500 a month. She could not afford it. And I knew it. And I kept saying, please, I don't want to sell to you. I literally said that. But she said, no, 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 I have to. Of course, that policy didn't make it. She couldn't even pay the first month. I knew that. And I hated what I did there. But she said I have to have it. And I was refusing. That's that's when you have to figure out, are you really in it to help people or are you just in it to make money? That policy is going to lapse anyways. So there you can't really make money on it. You may make money initially, but not long term. So remember, sell with conviction, be genuine, you will do well. You may not do well for a couple months, but you build up and eventually you will do well. So you might be a life insurance agent, and I'm just saying this word just to be clear because some people are new. We also don't call ourselves life insurance agents. We train that you are a retirement strategist. That's how you should be marketing yourself because insurance agent, because of the negative marketing out there, again, it has like a negative attachment to it. So that's why we say call yourself retirement strategist, set yourself apart. But you don't know how to believe that you are an agent. A lot of you may struggle with that. So I'm going to help you find the belief, understand what you do, and really, really feel like, okay, this is legit. Here's the history of insurance. It started in the Roman times. Did any of you know that? I didn't know that. I just learned. It started in the Roman times to meet expenses of ancient Roman funerals. People began to form burial societies or clubs. So people who were like athletes, stars, in Roman times, the funeral would be a celebration. So they would hire singers, dancers, performers during the funeral procession. And that was a big deal. You know, everybody had to compete with that then. So they found out that this was really expensive and they couldn't afford that. So they started a society or a club where everybody was paying into it. And then when somebody passed away, the commissioner of that time would, you know, disperse some funds for that funeral. That's how that concept started. And then the first insurance policy, it was written in London, England in 1500s. And the first person that the insurance coverage was given for, his name was William, and he was a meat preserver. So this has been around for such a long time. It's not a new thing. It's not something that's a fly by night. It didn't just show up and it's not a Ponzi scheme. It's been around since the 1500s was the first policy written. And then life insurance began in the USA in 1700s. The first company was called the Corporation for Relief of Poor and Distressed Widows and the Children of Presbyterian Ministers. So these were just basically insurance policies for orphans. That's how it started off with the church. And then the business grew slowly, and it was difficult to convince people that this new idea of life insurance was worth the investment. And then some people thought it was poor taste to put a dollar value on human life. Can you imagine selling insurance back then?
Wow, I didn't know.
Now in the internet age, people can research and self-convince, and you can, you know, keep talking to them. Here, when there were no phones, there were just you had to go meet the person physically and all of this, and you're trying to, you know, tell the world about insurance, this new concept. Imagine being the first person who said that, hey, we're gonna have cell phones one day where you can carry your phone around on you. Imagine someone telling you that when you were living back then that there was gonna be internet where you can research anything on a device in your hand. It doesn't make sense. Insurance happens to be like that. It doesn't make sense. It's conceptual. It's not a physical thing you can touch like a phone. Eventually we believed it because now we're holding it. But insurance is never something you can hold until you get a death benefit and you get a paycheck or in your bank account money is put in. Unfortunately, middle America and lower income America don't get to experience that because we kind of lived in times where people didn't believe in life insurance. Now the rich and wealthy, I promise you, they believe in the concept. They know because they use it to pass down wealth. We have a negative attachment. We use it for a death benefit, a death coverage. Wealthy people use it to pass their estate from one person to the other. That's why they think differently. They think of it as an investment, while we think of it as a protection. So maybe for some people, you have to change the terminology. It's not always protection. It's sometimes an investment. And that's what we try to teach you, that they're investing into their own future and building a retirement or something that they can be their own bank, right? That they can use funds to pay for things. Oh, Raza, I'm sorry. Investment is the wrong word. Savings. That's why we have each other. Okay. Here are some famous people that this might help you understand why life insurance is so, so important and having the correct amount is important and why an annual review is integral to your business. So if you are selling life insurance policies and every year you're not doing an annual review, that's a hole in your business. You need to correct that. If you are doing that, write it down right now on your to-do list that you need to add annual reviews and put it into your calendar to remind you that every year that you have a client on your book, you are going over their insurance and seeing that they have enough coverage, they're not over leveraged. You have to make sure of that. Heath Ledger, he's famous for playing Joker. And he passed away at 27 years old. He had $10 million in life insurance policy, and he signed it off to his daughter, Matilda. She was 3 years old. Now, there were two problems. Let me mute real quick. There were two problems with this policy. The first problem was that he didn't tell the insurance company that he had a lot of driving tickets and he had a substance abuse problem. So if there are, inconsistencies or misrepresentation of a policy, the insurance company can dispute it. So that's kind of what happened. They went into a dispute process. Eventually, they settled on an amount. But the second problem was that his beneficiary was his daughter. How many of you know that you shouldn't put a small child below 18 years old as a beneficiary? Uh, you can say in the chat or you can raise your hand that you knew a child should not be a beneficiary.
Yes, yeah, you shouldn't if they're under 18 because it'll take forever. You should
Exactly.
always have someone older or someone
Perfect.
over the age of 18 to be the beneficiary. But a lot of people, if they don't trust that person, that's why they do that.
Yes. Yes. And so then when you don't have people you can trust, this is what should have been done. They should have made a trust and then had the beneficiary as the daughter. So someone is in charge, a lawyer or somebody is in charge of managing that trust. That's how you solve those, problems. There are some clients that you will come across that will say, "Oh, my kid." And you're like, "Well, how old is that kid?" "Oh, he's 10." You should be having that discussion like, "Hey, listen, they're too young. They won't be able to access it because they're too young to manage the money. So, maybe I suggest that if you are going to put your child, which is fine, you can, then you establish a trust and the trustee manages the money for that child." That's very important. So see, this is a person that had probably enough coverage, but didn't really think it through, or his agent, you would think this agent would think this through. The agent didn't think it through very well either. This is not a good thing. Then everybody knows who Whitney Houston is. Despite her incredible talent and lucrative career, she had massive legal battles and she had a massive substance abuse problems and it messed her up, income wise. And she left a 312,000 life insurance policy. How many of you already think that's enough for her? As the
112.
someone in her stature, yeah, someone in her stature. How many of you, okay, let's ask this question. How many of you already see a problem with that? Whitney Houston had a $312,000 life insurance.
That's it?
Yes, that's it.
Oh my God.
Just education. I mean, you didn't know these things, but these are problematic issues that you see. So yeah, some people say, yeah, this definitely isn't enough just by looking at it. So when she passed away, it wasn't enough to cover all her debt. How many of you also know that most wealthy people are over leveraged when it comes to debt? They have this massive mansion, they have these cars, they're traveling, they're blowing through money, they have these bags, they have all these things that they've over these loans, they're spending so much money that they're really not making. I mean, most Americans are. We are heavily bankrupt, heavily over leveraged in credit. Credit is an awful thing. You get stuck in it. That's why companies that are consolidation companies and debt management companies, they're doing so well right now. It's a problem in America. Stars have that problem, even bigger problems than us. You've heard most stars have filed for bankruptcy because they over leverage. They are spending too much and they don't have enough. So when she passed away, her insurance policy didn't even cover her debts. That is terrible. That is terrible for her daughter that was left over after she passed away. She had nothing except a bunch of debt that her mother left. So remember, annual reviews, correctly understanding what's a good amount to have as far as coverage is very important. In this case, I would team up with an advisor maybe. and be like, I'm going to do the insurance side, you do the advising side. Look at her assets, look at her debts, and see what she needs and tell me. Like now I learned that's what I'm supposed to do. I went to a training and I learned that you need to see what the whole financial picture, their debts, how much of the assets do they have, what is their life insurance coverage, and then you need to take that information and determine the life insurance amount. That's how you correctly do it. So team up with an attorney. These people have attorneys, estate attorneys, and all kinds of stuff. Or you make your own team. You make your own team of people that you trust that are going to use you, and they're going to you're going to use them and they're going to use you. You are all business partners with this one client that's going to come about. What if you created a business structure like this that truly protects people and makes sure that they have enough? Here, I think you might have to pull up another one. This is not updated. 1 second.
And Rana,
Yes.
that's what we did at State Farm when they introduced a client. They introduced them to their money team.
Uh-huh.
And so it would be an advisor, their insurance agent for their home, their life, all under one umbrella. And they started with the introduction that way. So the client didn't know that there was any other way. They thought they had to meet with each individual person. So
That's
definitely works.
Yeah, it does. I mean, just be doing the extra, pulling the extra mile, putting the extra effort. It's gonna help you in the long run, and that person's obviously gonna give you a referral. I mean, that is if you ask for it. If you don't ask for it, they're not going to. But if you really make sure and you say, "Hey, listen, you have this much debt, you have 4 kids, your $100,000 policy is not going to be enough." They're going to understand that. They're going to say, hey, you want to be honest with me? I want to know what your, debt is like. I want to know what your obligations look like. I want to know how many kids you have. I want to make sure I guide you properly.
But that's why the green sheet is so helpful as well, because you're building that whole picture up
You
front.
can. It can be invasive for the average person,
For the
but
first
definitely,
appointment, yeah.
yeah, maybe if you develop a relationship and you make friends. We never used it because we found a lot of people used to buck because it's too much. It's too much too soon.
Yeah, in a bank environment, because they're coming and you know what their
Yeah.
money is looks like, they are comfortable.
Yeah.
But for an insurance agent, sometimes people
That's why I say annual review is important. So when you build the trust the first time, you go back in and you say, hey, let's do a review. And then you maybe pull out the EFA
yeah.
and you look at the big picture. I would always do it once I get the business. Before getting the business, it's too
Too
invasive.
invasive, yeah.
Once you get the business, go in at the annual review and say, let's see if you have enough. Oh, listen, I have a problem here. I didn't know this, but now that we're friends and you're my client, I need to understand the full picture. Do you mind sharing a little information with me to make sure I have the right coverage on you? And if we need to update it, we will.
Yeah.
It's a
And I
very,
think that's why it's so useful for me, because I most of my clients are incorporated from the coaching business.
oh, there you
So
go.
I use
You
that
already
as
have
that
a
coaching tool.
Yeah.
that's a great way to, because you already have a good relationship and you come across as a trusted person. That's very easy for you to do. Um, just to make a sale first, because I want you guys to be successful. First, develop that client with something, and then build on that is my recommendation
Yeah.
about, their kids, their grandparents. Then you start going into the more, in-depth sale. So get them in first, make them your client, build that trust, and then get more information. Here's if you use insurance correctly and you actually teach them that be your own bank concept, this is how it's properly used. For example, J.C. Penney, now it's kind of dying down, but they have survived some bad times. He used his cash value insurance as an emergency fund in the 1930s. His company was doing really good in 1920s, and he bought a lot of real estate, a lot of stock, and he bought whole life insurance. And then the market crashed in 1929, and that's when the Great Depression happened, when many, many companies did not survive. But he borrowed against his insurance policy and he made payroll, he purchased inventory, and ultimately it helped his business get through Great Depression. So that's the leverage of having an insurance policy. It can help your business survive in the worst of times. Then there's Walt Disney. When he came up with the idea of Disneyland, people did not understand his vision. And nobody was willing to give him money or give him loans because they just didn't believe in it. And so he used his insurance policy, the cash value in his whole life, to start Disneyland all by himself. Is that not incredible? He used his insurance policy as a business loan for himself. He didn't have to go to a banker. He ended up creating one of the most successful brands in America. We all recognize, and our children and some of us as adults, want to go to Disneyland. It builds $70 million in revenue a year. It may even be more than that. And insurance made the happiest place on earth. This is what it did, utilized correctly. And here in 1960s, Ray Kroc, we all know the Golden Arches. McDonald's is the most recognized brand in the world. He expanded his brand by using life insurance. He bought out his partners and then expanded his business, created more franchises. And today there's 37,800 McDonald's restaurants worldwide. And they produce $21 billion of revenue every year. That's the power of using life insurance for business, not just life insurance to cover you if, you pass away and your family needs funds or things like that. There's other benefits. So everybody is your client. A business owner is your client. A family, breadwinner for a family is your client. A business that needs a key man policy is your client because they need to replace that person. There's so many people that are your clients, and maybe you're not going out there and looking for these people. You're just looking for families to help that might have a problem if the breadwinner passes away. What if you changed your vision and said, I can help more people than just that? And start looking for these bigger guys that might be the greatest insurance policy you've ever sold because they believe in the business aspect of life insurance. They're not using it to protect their family. They're using it to leverage their finances. That's a different sale, guys. And it's important to understand, we as middle America and low income America do not buy life insurance the way the wealthy do. We all agree with that, right? We have heard that they have utilized insurance for ages. The wealthy buy more insurance because they get it. You don't have to oversell them. When you talk money and you understand safety of money and protection and avoiding probate and creating an estate plan and all of this, you're talking their terminology because they're all about protecting their income. They're not talking about protecting their family. They're talking about income preservation and income passing to other heirs. It is well known that Buffett has been purchasing multiple policies each year for the past 3 decades. Imagine the insurance agent that sells to Warren Buffett, who owns insurance companies, by the way.
Mhm.
So he owns a lot of his billions. There's a certain percentage, I don't remember the exact percentage, but Warren Buffett is literally an insurance billionaire. That's how he's making his money because insurance is solid. It bails us out during depression, recession. Insurance is the most solid business. It loaned America money to come out of depression. I hope you understand how solid insurance is. Your backing is so solid. That's why we say you're in the industry that can survive a recession. It's recession proof. If you truly understood that this is why, you would be more confident when you say, hey, I'm licensed as an insurance agent. Oprah, she invests in life insurance policies. Does she need it? No. She has no kids, but she believes in it. Susie Orman, she might go out there and say everything against everything, especially what we do. But I 100% guarantee you, Susie Orman has it. Rockefeller they're known for this. This is how they have money. They have a life insurance policy on every single family member. And they have this pool of money that's been building because of life insurance payouts, and it's a trust. And the family members borrow against it, build businesses, borrow against it, build businesses. And they're required to be a part of this trust. You have to have a life insurance policy. What if you did that for your family? You're okay, fine. You didn't sell a single policy to anyone else. But what if you created your own trust in your family and you started it? Grandpa so-and-so is going to be on the mantelpiece for a very long time. They might be the screensaver on the phone because they set the family up. I'm sure the Rockefeller who started this is the one that's most revered. Jay-Z does it. He understands the value of insurance. And any other person who has the understanding of the value of insurance and estate tax implications, they know how it can ravage the family's assets. They use it. We have several agents that are stuck in probate. Their grandparents passed away and they're stuck and they can't get the money. This is huge, guys. So understanding the implications of not having insurance is even a wealthy person is your client, not only the families that you're trying to go help. You can do good and you can do great at the same time. Okay, let's see. All right. Hold on, let me go back. So how many of you, and I want you guys to interact with me, are actually going out there and selling life insurance to more people that are business owners as well? How many of you are targeting that?
Yeah, working
Tremaine
on
said-
it.
Okay, Tremaine said she does. How many of you are too scared to do it? To talk to business owners? Okay, no
Jamil
more.
said he's too shy.
Jamil says too shy.
Yeah.
Maybe I
You're
should.
leaving a lot of money on the table. That's
Yeah, you're so when you're not talking to business owners, you're leaving a lot of money on the table for sure. 100%. Because these are your, while you're doing good, this is when you do great income-wise. You don't become well off in the insurance industry by just helping families. You also become well off in the industry because you're helping business owners and you're helping their families generationally. Because we all know insurance has a generational concept attached to it. It's generational wealth. If it's generational wealth, who is your target market? The wealthy. And we're in America and we're in a digital age where there's more and more and more wealthy people popping up. Billionaires are becoming even bigger billionaires, millionaires are becoming billionaires, and so on and so forth. So if this business was created on the concept of there's, yes, one side of securing the family, yes, we can talk about that till we're blue in the face. We already believe in that. That's what we're sold on. We know that. But there's another side, is retaining and growing wealth, generational legacy building. That's what we do too. Do not let that part of the business not become your bread and butter also. So I want you to look at this business in different ways and not just get stuck in a tunnel vision. A true business owner looks at all opportunities. Are you truly looking at every single opportunity? Raza knows this. If I go on the weekend and I'm having fun and I go to like fairs and festivals and I see a bunch of booths of business owners, that is my target market. I will go talk to them. He thinks I'm crazy and he gets embarrassed. I don't care. They are business owners. They're small business owners trying to form something for their family, and they might be the next big thing. We don't know that. That's how they get started, by putting up a stall or a booth at an event. And they're just trying to get the word out there. Make these people your friends. You're going to go have fun with your family, go enjoy the weather, go get some business cards, go make some friends, and start, making these people in your corner, these business owners, start making a crowd of them around you. They may not become your client right now. That's okay. They will eventually become your client because they will understand that what you're teaching them about using insurance, they're gonna one day process it. It takes time for people. It takes about 7 touches to close a policy. You haven't done enough work if you talk to a person once.
unexpected, realistic.
Yeah,
Just
that's some,
half a sale, right?
yeah, that is some unrealistic expectations. If you're coming on here and you think I am gonna sell a policy in one time. Sure, some of you might be able to do that, but that is not realistic. It takes 7 touches for the average human to buy something. It does. So if you know that that's the average number, the law of averages, it really works here, then why would you give up on the first or second call? I've seen people do that. Oh, he didn't pick up my call on the second time. And then they forget about them. And that is the hardest thing to do in business. Steve Harvey was an insurance agent. I don't know if any of you knew that.
Yeah.
He was an insurance agent. Steve Harvey, he used to live in our neighborhood over here somewhere. And obviously then he became famous and he left us. But he was famous. I mean, he was an insurance agent. And if you asked him, he spoke about this. He said, the thing I hated most about insurance is follow-up. It's a problem. We all know this. The guy who seems like he has the most confidence in the world said, I hated the follow-up. I hated calling people over and over again. Yes, it's a very bad part of doing this business, but It's a necessary evil to closing business. So if you knew talking to people enough closes business for you, you were going to keep on doing it because that's how you make money. If I paid you a salary and I said you have to do this and you have no choice, you'd be the best salesperson that would ever lived on this earth. But because I don't pay you a salary and you're on your own and you're making a commission, you're a little bit relaxed or a little bit like, I'm not going to do it. There's no one standing on top of you because you've been, trained to have a boss. You don't know how to boss yourself. Become a better boss. Tell yourself you got to do it and force it on you that you're going to pick up the phone. It doesn't matter. From 2 to 5, I'm going to call. I'm going to close business. Like my life depended on it. Because it does. It does. How long do you want to stay at your job? How long do you want to stay at a mediocre income? It's up to you. You write your paycheck here. So I went to a conference last. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. No, just kidding. Okay. I went to a conference last week and we love to go to more training conferences and learn from other people. And it was supposed to be an annuity conference, but it turned out to be a little bit more than that. And we learned well, it was a lot of financial advisors in the room. Amazing, top class, doing insane amount of money kind of people. Like they have like $250 million in assets under management, which is a very, very, very hard feat. Okay. It's very hard. And they're doing that much volume on just the financial advising side. But they're big money. And the way they were talking, they were like, that's not where all the money is at, guys. The money was in annuities. They are like $30 million annuity producers that I was sitting with. And I'm like looking at them. I'm just like, oh my God. I was going a little bit like fangirl because these are people that we look up to, $30 million in annuity, 15, 20,
One man.
just one person.
One man.
He doesn't have a team doing it. He's doing it himself. And this was normal in this room. And I was absolutely like mind blown that they're not really financial advisors and they're not really making a lot of money on that side. They're like, no, annuities is where it's at. Annuities is where the money is at. So when I learned that, I was like, I got to tell my team what I learned. It's incredible. So those who know use fixed income annuities. These financial advisors were saying, oh, variable market annuities are not great. We sell like 3% of those. Fixed income annuities is where all your money is going to be made. Yes, Dominic.
You know what the best part of annuities is?
Yes.
There's no health questions. They can just get them.
Yes, that's the beauty in it. They can just get them. And then you get to protect their money from any principal loss, which is even more like a cherry on top, right? So let me talk about the people who use annuities. Albert Einstein, genius. Got to follow the geniuses. He was a brilliant physicist, talked about, his theory of relativity. He was also an astute financial planner. He invested wisely in annuity funds as part of his strategy to ensure financial stability for himself and the family. He called compound interest, guys. This is what we do, and you can quote him. Compound interest, the greatest mathematical discovery of all times. That's what we provide. If you don't know about compound interest, I would go learn on it. That is a huge seller. It's leverage like no other. He recognized that the predictability and the guaranteed income offered by annuities were ideal for someone who valued a peace of mind just as much as groundbreaking discoveries. I mean, we revere him as one of the smartest men on the planet that ever lived. This is what he said. Compound interest is your best friend. Hetty Green, she was called the Witch of Wall Street. She was a huge, very wealthy woman in the 19th and 20th century. She also said that in a volatile financial world, annuities provide a stable stream of income that could weather any storm. When she invested in annuities, it contributed to her legacy as one of the most successful investors in history. Because not only does she have growth, but she also has safety. She's marrying those two things. Most people who invest are investing in probability. Maybe they're going to make a whole bunch of money. Maybe they'll make 28%, 30% off the market. But what if you can tie growth in with security? There's very few investments in the world or saving mechanisms in the world that offer that. Annuities are one of them. You get to sell them with your license. I am surprised that we as insurance agents get to sell annuities, actually.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like someone that needs to have a CFP or maybe a financial advising license should be able to do that. But you get to do that. And until the laws change, benefit from it. Babe Ruth, he was an iconic figure in sports, huge baseball player, home run king, but he was also a savvy investor. He invested in annuities to make sure that he's financially secure in his future, and he had a very comfortable retirement. Benjamin Franklin, father of America, right? He, let's see, in his autobiography, he shared his wisdom of the subject of financial planning. And his most famous quotes, one of them is, an investment is not in knowledge pays the best interest. Right? So he also invested in annuities because in a world full of uncertain and unpredictable times, he understood that the promise of consistent, guaranteed income from annuity was invaluable. Yeah, we live in a world that's completely unpredictable. You don't know when you're going to pass away. That's what you can say to a client too. You don't know. There's nothing that says on the top of your head that you will pass away on this date and this time. We give it a cushion that if it does happen, you have protection, right? So you have to make sure that in uncertain times, unpredictable situations, we are the one person that can offer predictability with guaranteed income through annuities. Now, my question is, are you guys undercover? Who's undercover? Who here doesn't tell people that they're an insurance agent or retirement strategist or, you know, retirement specialist, safe money expert, any of those things? Who doesn't tell anybody? And be honest, because we're going to have to change that. We're going to work together and change that. You know, we have difficult discussions here. Don't worry, you don't have to tell me. You can tell yourself. Okay, that's suspicious. It's because you don't believe in it. You don't believe in what you do here. You don't understand the value of the products that we have in our tool belt, what they can do for a person. Wealthy, middle class, low income. We help all income levels. You're clearly undercover because you don't trust what you do. That's so suspicious. That song is playing. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious, because you are being suspicious. Why are you trying not to, why are you trying to tell people what you do? You obviously don't believe in it. How many of you go and tell your friends and family about what you do? Put your hand up or make a comment. I should open my comments. Okay, I do. Dr. Wendy does. Franklin does. Tremaine does. So some of you are not typing in here, and that tells me something. Dominic, Amy does. These are your people. Why aren't you helping your people? Even if you don't think you can help them, you can help them by educating them, because they're going to have kids, they're going to have grandparents, they're going to have friends that need you. And if you don't tell them, they won't know to help you find people. Your people are billboards. I met a lady at an event. She was sitting right next to us, super friendly. Turned out she's a retired principal from a local school district here. And she invited me to dinner yesterday. And the first thing she said, oh, I looked on your Facebook. You guys are doing so good in the financial space. And, you know, I have a son that's a doctor. He's 28 years old.
Invited him to the.
And he was there. She invited him to the dinner. It was just her family and us. And then I have another son. He's an AI specialist, and they don't have a financial planner. And I think they should use you.
And her brother came. She said they have 100
Oh yeah. They have 100 family members, and her other brother that was invited to this dinner had multi-millions of dollars. They do manufacturing and wholesaling of car stereo systems. So if you sorry, somebody's saying something?
No.
Okay, if you have your Facebook, use it, right? And talk to people. Just be nice. I didn't tell her that I need to help you. She just said, what do you do? I said, I do this. And I said, what do you do? She said, I'm an ex-principal. I'm pretty sure she has some, you know, 403B sitting there. She was a principal for many years. I just didn't approach her right now because it was my first meeting with her officially. But make friends with people. When you're sitting next to somebody, Yeah, I think Amway has that thing, the 3-foot rule or something. That's brilliant training. Go get their training. Talk to everyone. Okay, Alice said she talks to everyone, strangers, family, acquaintances. Beautiful. Beautiful. You should be talking to everyone. No one knows what you do until you open your mouth. How many of you network? Franklin networks. Amy networks. Couple people network. Okay.
That's something I need to get better at. Carmen and I talked about that last week, actually.
I love it. I'm glad you're being honest with yourself. You should be honest with yourself because no one's your boss here. I'm not your boss. Nobody's your boss. You are your own boss. Be honest with your boss. You can't hide from yourself. You know exactly what you're doing. Network. It's important. You got to meet new people. You can't keep hunting in the same pool. That pool's going to run dry. You got to find a new lake, new resources. And if we meet so many people, oh, I've already tapped into my family and friends and I don't know anyone else.
Go find other people.
Well, how do you think us immigrants do it? We meet new people.
Yeah.
We can do it. You can do it. You grew up here.
I was the first one in my family.
Yeah, he came at 18, didn't know a single soul here. And now he knows some people. That's how you do it. You meet people. You go network. You say hello. You say, how are you?
Yeah.
You say, let's hang out. Let's go meet up for dinner.
Starts with a hello.
Starts with a hello. Meeting people is not as hard as you make it. Us adults, we're a little traumatized by people. We've been done wrong. We're scared. All these things are happening, but networking is simple as saying hello.
We said hello to this couple next to us, and then we were invited to dinner last night at their house.
We only talk for like 10 minutes, right? But saying hello matters. Being nice and laughing and telling a couple jokes is all you need in your ammo of making friends. Zena, did you need to say something or are you just raising your hand?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that even in the command center, Raza has a really good training step by step on how to build referral partners, and that of course leads to clients. And so even if you don't know anybody, Raza takes you kind of step by step on how to start building from scratch.
Yes. Yes, that's a
I
great
forgot the name of the video, but I figured you would know it.
I don't know the name of it.
Is it
but I
referral
watched it.
partners? It
Yes.
might be about referral partners, but
Yeah,
there's
under
definitely
upon
one.
under
Okay, that's
under
it. Yeah,
cruise.
it's really good.
Awesome. Thank you for that suggestion.
Unlimited
So
referrals.
for you new people or people who are stuck, watch that video and go find more people. And then do you marry your business in your life? And this is very important. Some of you say, I don't have time. Well, the thing is that you have to understand your business is part of your life now. It's you, it's your identity. How can you not give it time when it's you? It's your business. Nobody else owns it but you. You are building it. You are the guy, you are the woman, you are the boss. It's supposed to be part of your life. You could be going out for dinner and sitting in, just like we were doing, sitting and talking to a person, and then it just becomes a friendly conversation. That's also building clientele. You can be going to a happy hour just to mingle and meet people, and you come across 4 or 5 people that might be your potential clients for the rest of the year.
We are homebodies.
Yeah, we're homebodies. We work from home, so we use every opportunity we go out. It's always first it's let's make friends, but then it's always those friends can be clients. Creates a little excitement. So marry your business in your life. Like I said, if I go to festivals and fairs, I'm talking to those booth owners. I'm getting their business card. I'm making relationships. You should be doing that as well. It's a part of your life. Just incorporate it. Figure it out. Figure out how to make it a part of your identity. It's yours. You own it. It's you. Pastor Eddie. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. This is really powerful.
Thank you.
One of the things that we use is your current lifestyle is your pathway to success. And that was something that I learned a long time ago in network marketing, that whatever you're doing currently can be the pathway to your success if you touch, again, there's that word, touch everybody that's in your sphere of influence. Whether you're at work, it doesn't matter what kind of job you do. It doesn't matter if you're part-time. It doesn't matter what you're doing in your recreational time. You always make it a point to to smile at somebody, to make a connection in some way, shape, or form, get a name and number. That's huge. If you make connections and you never get a name or number, you may never see that person again. I mean, you just might not. That I know that sounds dreary, but you may never see them again. But you have to make it a point to get contact information. Ask them, hey, what did your schedule look like? I'd like to talk to you more. You seem like a very interesting person. People love to be blown up, and if you can just make a compliment, whether it's a nice hat, whether like a sparkly hat, or I like that shirt, or whatever they have. If you make a compliment, it kind of opens up the door because they go, oh, thank you, and now you're in a conversation. So your current lifestyle literally is your pathway to success. So I
I
just
love
wanted to share
that. It was so simple what he said, right? And that's honestly that's networking 101. Just compliment people. It puts value into people's life, and they might be having a rough day, or they don't think they're enough or whatever, and you just gave a small compliment, changed their life. They're going to listen to what you do. It's very powerful to compliment people. Very, very powerful. And if it's that simple, all of you have that power in your hand to open up people by giving a compliment. I love that he shared that because that's true. That's how I open up people. I always give compliments. Find something great about them. It's very easy to do that. So how many of you worked on your digital footprint? Oh, wait. I was going to say something while Pastor Eddie was talking. Pastor Eddie was sitting with me at another training conference we were at here in Dallas. He drove down and we were talking, and he talked about how he's at Lifetime Fitness, which is pretty, very, very nice gym. It's a high-end gym. It costs a lot to go there. But he loves it because he says he sits up in the sauna, and there'd be a couple business guys or people sitting in the sauna, and he already knows they're spending a good amount of money to be there. And that's how he talks to clients and things like that. And he just makes relationships. And I thought that was brilliant. I said, Raza, we need to get a membership and go to the sauna. It's a business expense. But he's made that part of his life. That's what I was saying. He's married his business into his regular routine of life. He's very good at that he can just sit there in a sauna and have a conversation, and it's bound to come up. What do you do? Why don't you become the person that asks what the other person does first? If you feel like you sound a little too desperate, just say, hey, what do you do? And then that person starts talking, and guess what the next question is? What do you do? And then you can talk about yourself. So it's very important to marry what you do into your activities, and it makes it very casual as a discussion. It opens up doors. It's part of you. So the next question was, how many of you are working on your digital footprint? Meaning your social media platforms. Every day.
I am, yeah.
Powerful. And it could be very small. It could be once a week, Franklin, and you have your hand raised and a couple other people. It's okay. I see several people. That is great. Like I said, yesterday we went to a dinner of a lady we met. I always send them a Facebook friend request. I don't give my phone number right away. I know that's not how everybody works, but I do not. I say, oh, let me add you on Facebook. I go in and I add them. Why do I do that? Does anybody have an idea why I would add someone on Facebook before I give them my phone number? And you can just
They're just
say
going to
that.
be talking.
Because you basically
gonna
want
be
to know
talking.
about them.
I'm sorry.
Because
gonna
then
be-
people can
it's gonna-
see you and what
I
you
love,
do.
I love how everybody wants to answer. This is what I wanted. Okay. Say it again, somebody.
Go ahead, Pastor Eddie.
Pastor Eddie,
Oh, you're not only are you getting their Facebook, you can see what they do, but they can also see what you do when they come in if they click on your profile. So
bingo.
it is like an exchange of who we are. Like,
Bingo.
what kind of person are you? Like they automatically you get to see, okay, this person, they got, they're they're a jokester, or they're
Yeah.
very serious or whatever. Like you can kind of see their personality through their Facebook.
Exactly. It's a business card that's even better than a business card because you get to peek into their life. You get to see if they have kids. You get to see if they have a wife. You get to see if they travel the world. You get to see if they own a business. You get to see if they're college educated. It's all already building trust because they can research you and figure out you, just like I had happened to me yesterday, where we met the lady 2 days ago at a event. A concert, and she was sitting next to us, and then we didn't even talk because we were at a loud music what is it? concert. I can't talk. And so when we didn't get a chance to talk, I said, "Oh, hey." She's like, "Oh, we should exchange numbers." I said, "Let me add you to Facebook right now. We can exchange numbers through Messenger." And she's like, "Oh, cool." I added her, and that was it. That was it. I didn't really talk to her. The next day, she's like, "Hey, come over to my house for dinner."
Smart technique.
Yeah, she said, "Come over to my house for dinner on Friday." We're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she sat next to me and she's introducing me to her family, and these are multimillionaires and all of this. And she goes, "Oh, this is Raza and Imrana Begg, and they're huge in the financial industry. I am so honored that they're here for dinner in our house." And we were like, "What?" You know,
It was funny.
what?
Me and Imran looking at each other like, really?
Really? I literally went on my Facebook to see, what does my Facebook wall look like? This is great. This is great input, right? Because I didn't think that way, but
Because you're
she
not
was like,
prospecting.
"You guys, we're not prospecting actively on there. We should be." But it gave me some feedback that my persona on Facebook was good. And she was impressed and she was like, "I'm so honored you guys came to my house. Oh, my kids need to use you. I have so many, I have 100 family members right here in Dallas. I'm going to introduce you to all of them." And we're like, "Whoa, like what do you mean?" But that is the power of having a good digital footprint.
Yeah.
Post, because you never know. You meet people, use Facebook as your business card, because everyone has Facebook.
Yeah.
Everyone does have Facebook. They get a sneak peek into your life. Some of you are all like, "No, my Facebook is my private, personal Facebook to connect with my friends." I'm sorry. Facebook is the number one business tool out there.
Yeah.
It is the number one business tool. Use it properly. Social life is great, but that's not going to make you money if you don't know how to convert them into a business contact. Facebook is the number one business social media platform, and you know how to use it. Just put stuff on there. Just put what you do. Share a couple of videos, a couple of talking points, create discussion, brand yourself, brand your company. Talk about a client that you met and how you changed their life and black out their name. Talk about networking and how you're helping other businesses. Corey does this, very good at it. Use your Facebook the way you should be using it. And then this is all connected to your profiles. How many use your profile to educate others? Not everyone has been your client yet, so they haven't sat with you. So this is an opportunity to start educating them by dripping on them. Okay, some of you are raising your hands that you educate. That's good. I'm so glad you're doing it. And for those of you that are on and haven't started, I would start. You're sitting on money. You're just watching life go by, because it's free to post on your own Facebook. It's free. It just takes a little time. You could sit in the bathroom while you're doing your business and making a post for 30 seconds, 1 minute. It's not that hard. You can go to Etsy and you can buy an insurance marketing package if you don't like the ones that are in the command center for $5. There's so much out there that if you're not utilizing it, you're doing yourself a disservice. There's so much. Command center has everything for free. Just use it. Put up your logo on there and throw it out there. Schedule it all out. Every Sunday, I'm going to make a post. Start with 1 day. Start with 1 day. Today's your day. Every Saturday after my training here, when I sit with my friends, my teammates, I am going to make a post. On my Instagram, I'm not active on Instagram. I need to work on that. But on my TikTok, maybe I might talk about what you learned here. Talk about Ray Kroc and McDonald's and how you use insurance. I gave you talking points. I can send this slide to you if you need it. I created it 30 minutes before I was working on it while Raza was talking to you. It's talking points you can put on your Facebook and start getting clients. It's powerful stuff you can use because people have used these products and they have won. Everyone deserves a chance to win utilizing products that we are able to sell, insurance products. And now my last question for all of you. Do you really believe, again, after all of this now that I presented you with, how solid we are, what insurance means to people and how it can affect people? Do you really believe in what you do? I need to hear it with conviction.
I believe in it.
Absolutely.
Even
You
getting
better believe it, baby.
yes.
No.
Now do you believe in it more?
100%.
Okay, did this conversation maybe affect you and change you and make you believe it in even more? If you were like, oh, I don't know about insurance, it's scammy. Did some of this change your mind? Or no, you're all sold out on this? Okay, no worries, you don't have to tell me. But it needs to change. You need to have a mental shift. You need to believe in what you do because the person across from you is going to believe in it. If you are acting suspicious, you are being hidden about what you do, that doesn't show confidence. Go out there and proudly talk about, hey, I do this. I'm a retirement strategist. I really help people understand what retirement will look like when it comes. I've noticed that, people don't know. There's not enough information. No 401k administrator is sitting with anyone. I'm sorry, nobody's 401k administrator sits there and does anything. There's a hole in this business, that there's nobody teaching you truly that you have enough for retirement or you don't have enough for retirement. And how will you make it? How can you change that? No one is doing that. That's what you do. You are helping so many people, probate issues with wealthy, retirement strategies with everyone who works, family security with anyone that has a family, final expense for everyone that needs to be buried, because every single one of us is going to die one day, and every single one of us is going to need a decent funeral. Even if we say just do the basic, still costs money, minimum 3,500, right? So there's so many needs. Everyone needs us. Everyone needs us. Are you really going out there and helping the people that need us? I don't think you are. Because I can sit there and I will go on everyone's Facebook that's here today and I can tell you you're not, or you are. In fact, I encourage you. You are on a team. Go ahead and message somebody and say, hey, can you do a quick search on me? Can you check my Facebook? You tell me what I need to do. You don't have to be a social media expert. Just have someone be a little bold. We learned that in a conference. Be bold and ask someone, can you look at my Facebook and tell me if it looks like I do insurance? Start from there. Pastor Eddie? I think your hand was raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I may have hit that. I was replying. Somebody was asking about military, but that's true. You really put a lot of people on the spot when you just did that because
You see
your
what I
Facebook
do?
is like, where's Experior? I mean, where's your life insurance at? Like, that's a true telltale of, you know, like a lot of people can talk. Like when you get amongst our team and our crowd, it's easy to share, hey, I did this or I did that. But, the rubber meets the road after we get off of this call, and we have to take action. So I'm glad you're doing that.
I'm my whole motivation is let's shift our businesses for the end of the year, right? So I will be putting people on the spot. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it because we're all here for one thing. It was not really to make friends with each other. It was here to make money in a business. But being friends was part of the deal. It just kind of happened. You had no choice. But yes, go out there and promote, because if you don't, no one will. No one's going to believe in you because you didn't promote yourself. You will have to be your biggest promoter. It's where all the money is at. The money comes from first being relevant, which comes after being promoted. Then it comes after the closing part of it, because you touched them enough times to close the business. So make sure we're doing that. I'm opening it up now. We're gonna talk about anything that you have a concern of, any suggestions, any thoughts. While I read the comments, everybody get off of mute and chit chat.
Hey, this is Craig. Great training today. I just had a quick question about ethos. I received an email stating that they're not doing any more contracting for the rest of the year. Do we know why that is? Any more information?
Who is
Ethos?
Ethos? Oh, really?
Did they reply back to you on that?
They did. That was the reply back. I actually did the contracting, and through Experior contracting, they came back and said Ethos is not taking on any new appointments for the rest of the year.
Can you forward that to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get that checked on.
Yeah,
Okay.
Juana got an email saying that as well. And she was supposed to be asking you about that or calling contracting to see what's going on.
Yeah, because they are the demand is super high and they're not able to handle the volume that Experience are trying to give them. So they might have a pause, but to catch up, I guess, on contracting. So I'll check on that.
Which carrier was that, Raza?
Ethos?
Ethos, okay. There's a question, is there a way to help military persons? Yes, you can roll over what is it?
TSP.
Their
TSBs?
TSP.
Sorry, I have some trouble
Pashed is a
remembering words.
veteran, so you can.
Oh,
Can
there
you,
you go.
I'm sorry, Arana, can you explain that a little bit? I mean, I actually have a nephew
I'll let
in
Pastor Eddie
Oh.
leverage.
X-Men.
No, so I was gonna say military people are people too. Like, we're
Like you,
yes,
like you,
yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
myself.
and yeah,
I
Franklin.
did 23 years in the army, and
20 here.
yeah, yeah, 23, Franklin 20, over 20 years. So like we're people too, and with the military
Exactly.
community, sometimes making a connection with them is just simply, letting them know you appreciate them first off, but also like to help them with the insurance side. It's just, they're very common sense type people. They're when you do get them as friends, they're very disciplined. I'll say we're very disciplined. We are pay attention to details. So if you're approaching them, or if you want to approach them, um, just do it just like you would anybody else, but just do let them know you appreciate their service, and ask them about it. That's a good way to really get a military person talking. Hey, so how was your service? What did you like about it? And they'll just go. They'll open up at that point because you're showing interest in them, and then you can ask them the question. Are you, if you because we do have burial benefits as military. We can use the VA cemetery, so that's one thing that is a benefit. But they don't pay. It doesn't pay. There's no benefits as far as money monetarily wise coming out of that. Some of them have TSPs that have been sitting there for years. They really don't know what to do with it. They don't really know how to access it, and they can't access it until they're a certain age. So, that's a whole nother thing. Do you know anything about your TSP? And they look at you like a deer in the headlights, like, I completely forgot about that. So it can be a gold mine depending on who you're talking to.
Well, that's very informative. I appreciate that because I never heard of that. All I know is that I have a relative that actually is in that position, and he's still actually working um, for the military in a warehouse. And the wife doesn't work, and they have 3 children. And I would like to be able to help him. I think he just turned 50, and so I would like to see if I can provide something for him because the military, the Veterans Administration, they don't actually give you what you think that you're going to be able to receive in when you go to retire.
Well, first, can I jump in here? First of all, they, the VA is not an insurance and it's not directly an insurance that helps. So there's a misconception there a lot of times with the Veterans Administration. You served your time if you were in the military. So you have VA you have VA attached benefits for your service time. But if it's not related after you get out and you did anything with your VA compensation or you filed for a VA compensation, then it's limited on what you have and or what you have or can do with that VA benefit. So
Right.
it's not all of what you know, a lot of people think, oh, we served, so, you know, I have this great veterans benefit and it's going to give me everything in the world, and it doesn't. They're misinformed, and they need to talk to their VA rep, and they can find out more about that, or talk to someone like myself who is an advocate for both the VA, but also does this on the outside, where we can show them and educate them on what the limitations of the VA are. So you need additional ancillary products outside of the VA, because the VA is not, it's a government entity, and it's not going to cover you for everything. Like Pastor Eddie said, there's benefits for us for burial places, but the payout for a veteran is only $250 and a flag.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of people, we noticed that they thought their TSP has no market loss, and there was a lot of misconceptions about their retirement plan. So,
Exactly.
and it's unfortunate because you would think the military would offer so much education and benefits. They don't. I tried to get in to help just educate, not even make clients, and they don't even. They just kept giving me a whirlwind of people to talk to, and I was just like, I just want to help people understand TSPs, and they're just like, oh, well, talk to this person, talk to that person. It's
Yeah.
so
Run around. Yeah.
disconnected. Yeah, it's the military, the VA system, they have so many departments and they're all disconnected. So there is a lack of education. So you could become an expert in that field just because you're passionate about helping that community because they've done so much for us. It's there, they need it. They really truly need it.
Right. The biggest difference is somebody who served versus like myself and Pastor Eddie, where we actually retired a 20-year veteran. If you just
Right.
served your 4 years or 3 years or 6 years or even 12 years, you just have the VA basically as a benefit, a side benefit once you got out, and a thank you for your service. If you did your 20 years, an official 20 years, and retired fully retirement, then you have more benefits that come from your 20 years of service or more.
Yeah.
Right.
And I used to work for the VA for I worked for the VA for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I could talk on both sides as well. And the one thing that I did notice, that we have people that come in from all different service levels, from 4 years, 3 years, even 2 years. I mean, you have to do 18 months to even be qualified as an active,
Right. Right.
to even be qualified as a service member. 36 months, but if you don't reach that, then you don't get any benefits. But to say this, there are benefits for people. Sometimes they don't realize it. Maybe something happened to them while they were in basic training, while they were in, at their, duty station, while they were, in the field. Maybe they got scratched and got poison ivy or something, but they just never reported it, or they went and reported it and never thought anything about it because it healed. So those are all benefits that can amount to dollars if they go like Franklin was saying. Um, Go to your VA rep, find a what we call a TVC, or a Texas. Well, that's Texas. If you're in Texas, Texas Veterans Commission, or the DAV, Department of it's for disabled veterans.
You're right.
Find somebody in that arena, and talk to them so that they can help you navigate that path. So I know I'm getting a little deep in the weeds.
No, we might have to do training like that, and I think that's a good idea, and there's more details. So that's why I love using experts, because you don't have to know everything. That's the power of teammates.
You met a guy that just does
Yeah, we met a guy, I
employees.
think he makes $300,000 a year, and all
No,
he
he did so till date he's done 6 million
oh wow. So till
Year to
date
date.
he's done year to date 6 million in annuities.
with
He does really well, but he
different
only works with the VA, like federal employees. He goes and speaks, he gets clients, he tries to go to events that the VA does, Pastor Eddie and Franklin. All he does is goes to events that will allow him to talk to people that were in the VA since he was in it, and that's his clients. That's all he does. So it's very powerful to
niche, niche.
use what you've already, you put in time, you've paid your dues more than anybody else can. You can just niche in that market because they need the help. They need it. So great meeting. I dropped the slides in our group chat, so please go ahead and check on that. But I appreciate your time. Any other questions before we go?
Oh, we
Great training, Imran, as always.
Oh man, thank you.
Just wanted to say
thank you,
hi.
Imrana. This was awesome as usual.
Appreciate you. I appreciate
Very
you.
informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys on Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But
Thank you. Very educational and informal.
Thank
Have a
you.
great Saturday, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Rana.
Thank you so much, Pastor Eddie.